Your dog appears to be asleep. All external evidence supports this conclusion. They are lying down, they are not moving, their breathing is slow, and one eye is open. Not both eyes, one, watching. And when something moves in the room, that eye focuses, and the ear on the same side rotates toward the sound, and your dog tracks it without lifting their head or otherwise indicating that anything has changed about their sleep status. This is both impressive and slightly unnerving, and the science behind it is genuinely remarkable. Welcome to Hidden Paw Signals. Today, we are going into unihemispheric sleep and the nighttime security system your dog is running while appearing to nap on your couch. Subscribe now because this one involves neuroscience that you are going to tell other people about. What your dog is demonstrating when they sleep with one eye open is a capacity called unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, or USWS, which is the ability to put one hemisphere of the brain into a sleep state, while the other hemisphere remains in an active, alert, waking state. This is a well-documented neurological phenomenon studied most extensively in birds and aquatic mammals like dolphins and seals, who depend on it for survival. They need to sleep while also keeping part of their brain active for breathing, navigation, or predator monitoring. Research on sleep architecture in domestic dogs has found evidence of similar hemispheric asymmetry in canine sleep, with dogs showing different EEG patterns across hemispheres during certain rest states, and behavioral observation has extensively documented the single-eye open resting behavior that is the visible output of this capability. The open eye corresponds to the hemisphere that is in the alert, monitoring state. The closed eye corresponds to the hemisphere that is in the deeper rest state. Your dog is getting partial rest while maintaining partial environmental awareness simultaneously. Your dog does this too, right? The specific eye-open rest posture? Drop it in the comments because I want to know what side your dog keeps open, because that is actually interesting data. The evolutionary rationale for this capability in dogs is the same as in other species where it has been documented. A social animal that needs to rest but also cannot afford to be completely unaware of its environment gets the best of both functions through this partial sleep state. In the ancestral context, a dog in a group who could partially sleep while still maintaining enough environmental awareness to detect and respond to significant stimuli was better positioned for survival than one who had to choose fully between rest and vigilance. The capacity for partial hemispheric sleep represents a neurological solution to this trade-off. What is particularly interesting in the research on where dogs direct their unihemispheric sleep is that the open eye tends to be directed toward the most relevant social or environmental focus in the current environment. Research on lateralized attention in dogs, published in Applied Animal Behavior Science, has found that dogs show consistent directional preferences in how they attend to social stimuli, and the open eye during sleep observation aligns with these broader attention lateralization patterns. When your dog is resting with one eye open and that eye is oriented toward the door, toward you, or toward another animal in the room, it is the alert hemisphere monitoring the social and environmental information in that direction. The sleeping hemisphere is getting recovery. The alert hemisphere is doing security. Both functions are running simultaneously. Does your dog's open eye seem to track you specifically when you move around the room? This is the alert hemisphere maintaining awareness of your position, which connects to the broader attachment monitoring behavior that runs throughout a dog's day. The monitoring does not fully switch off during rest, particularly in environments or situations where there is something the dog considers worth monitoring. The fact that you are that thing is once again a compliment expressed through neuroscience. There is also a comfort dimension to when dogs use unihemispheric sleep versus when they go into deeper bilateral sleep. Dogs in very secure, familiar, low-threat environments tend to show more deep bilateral sleep. Dogs in less familiar environments or in situations involving higher environmental uncertainty tend to show more of the lighter, one-eye open resting pattern. If your dog sleeps more deeply and less vigilantly at home than in other settings, that is a reliable indicator of how safe and secure they feel in your specific environment. A dog who is never fully off in any environment, who seems to never enter deep rest regardless of circumstances, may have a higher baseline anxiety level that is worth discussing with your vet. But the occasional one-eye open monitoring rest in a familiar home environment is your dog's ancient security system doing exactly what it was built to do, right there on your couch, for free. There is a fascinating research direction building on the unihemispheric sleep findings in dogs that connect to how dogs process emotional information during rest. Studies examining brain lateralization in dogs have found that the left and right hemispheres process different categories of emotional and social information preferentially, with the left hemisphere showing more engagement with approach-oriented, positive stimuli, and the right showing more engagement with withdrawal-oriented, cautious stimuli. During unihemispheric sleep, the alert hemisphere is the one that remains monitoring. Research findings suggest that which hemisphere remains alert during light sleep may be influenced by the social and environmental context, with dogs in situations involving positive, familiar social stimuli showing different hemispheric preferences than dogs in more uncertain or potentially threatening contexts. Your dog sleeping with their alert eye oriented toward you, their trusted person, in a familiar home environment, may be running a specifically positive hemisphere alert, the side of the brain that processes familiar, approach-oriented social information, rather than the threat-monitoring hemisphere. This is one of the quieter and more technically interesting ways that the quality of your relationship with your dog shows up in their neurology. Dogs in secure, positively associated environments appear to rest differently than dogs in uncertain ones, and those differences reach down to which hemisphere is running the show during sleep. There is also a practical application from this research worth knowing. If you have a dog who never seems to fully relax, who consistently maintains high vigilance even in familiar, seemingly safe environments, that pattern of inability to downshift into deeper rest states may be worth discussing with a veterinary behaviorist. Chronic hypervigilance, the inability to enter genuinely restful sleep states even in safe environments, is one of the behavioral markers of significant anxiety, and anxiety at that level is something that responds well to professional support. The occasional one-eye open resting dog in a familiar home is normal. The dog who is never genuinely off in any environment is telling you something worth hearing. There is a connection worth drawing between the unihemispheric sleep capacity and the broader research on canine stress and welfare that has practical implications. Studies measuring sleep architecture in dogs across different living situations have found that dogs in more secure, enrichment-rich, low-stress environments show more deep bilateral sleep, suggesting that the ability to fully rest correlates with the quality of the dog's psychological environment. This means that investing in your dog's overall welfare, adequate exercise, mental stimulation, stable routines, and a low-stress household environment is not just improving their waking experience, it is improving their sleeping experience too, allowing them to genuinely rest more deeply and recover more fully. A dog who sleeps deeply when the environment allows it is a dog whose nervous system is calibrated correctly. One eye open rest is a feature of the system. Deep, two eyes closed rest is the reward for getting everything else right. There is a final practical thing worth knowing about the one eye open sleep as a welfare indicator that connects everything discussed above. If you have a dog who never seems to close both eyes fully, even in the most familiar and apparently safe environments, even late at night when the household is completely quiet and has been settled for hours, that consistent inability to reach deeper sleep states is worth discussing with a veterinary professional. Chronic inability to achieve full bilateral sleep in dogs is associated with elevated baseline anxiety, and chronic anxiety at that level has real health implications over time, including elevated cortisol exposure, reduced immune function, and reduced quality of life. The distinction to watch for is between a dog who sometimes rests with one eye open in response to specific environmental stimuli, the kind of normal alertness monitoring described throughout this video, and a dog who appears unable to reach genuine deep rest regardless of circumstances. The first is healthy, normal behavior. The second is a signal worth professional attention. Your dog's ability to sleep deeply when the environment permits it is one of the clearest indicators of their overall emotional and physical well-being, and paying attention to it gives you a low-effort, high-information window into how they are actually doing on the inside. And for transparency on the science here, the research on unihemispheric sleep and brain lateralization in dogs that I am drawing on is published in Applied Animal Behavior Science and the Journal of Veterinary Behavior, outlined together with the broader comparative sleep research in other species. Peer-reviewed sources only. Just a quick note before you go. Everything I share on this channel comes from my own research and learning journey. I am not a vet, I am not a scientist, and I am definitely not a dog behaviorist. This is just one person going way too deep into dog psychology and sharing what they found. So please, if your dog is showing any serious, sudden, or unusual symptoms, do not diagnose it with YouTube. Go see your actual vet. They went to school for this. I watched videos about it. Those are different things. And as always, this video was produced with the help of artificial intelligence. Thanks for watching Hidden Paw Signals. See you in the next one.